Let's talk about the other prospective deals, because we're now obviously hearing about Savinho. There's been a lot of talk about him over the last few weeks about that potential transfer. I was getting really excited on the weekend when it clearly looked to me like Pep was lying about his injury, and that he looked like he was being left out of the squad for transfer reasons, judging by Pep's reaction. But all the latest news at the moment is maybe someone's blocking the deal potentially, or Man City don't want to sell, or maybe Tottenham don't want to go as high as what Man City want for Savinho. Brian, how do you feel about this current deal? Do you feel like this one you're still confident it might happen, or how are you feeling about it?
Well, I do think the 2-week injury is kind of convenient. Thankfully, Man City have got a squad big enough and deep enough with quality that if a player is out because they could be getting a transfer, they could say, right, you can sit out because we don't want to ruin this. The agent is apparently flying in, or is in, from Brazil. You don't do that just for a little chat, do you? So I think this may pick up next week after we've played them. They want Rodrigo, don't they? Or they clearly want Rodrigo. So does this go through? We'll see. We'll see. But also to add to this, Man City aren't going to make this easy for us. Man City will want the money. They obviously don't need it as much as other clubs do. You look at it, wouldn't pick up the phone to Man City for Harry Kane, and we loved Levy for that because obviously we wanted to keep him. He's been very, very involved in the 115 charges and trying to dob them and get them into shit, as with many other teams. So it's like, oh, do you know what? Let's have some fun. Let's have some. They don't need it. The paybacks at every club, you can go right, okay. But I do think mainly this is Man City. Play them at the weekend. Man City, as we've always said with big clubs like Liverpool right now, when they've got rid of Douglas Luiz, what's his name? Luis, they sold it to Bayern Munich. When big teams need to get big players out to then finance a new deal, they'll do it and they're ruthless. Pep has said that he loves the player. He thinks he's a talent, but he never stands in the way. So I think after the City game, this may pick up. Whether we hit that fee, remember, we've only got a week to do the advancing as of after this game. So how quick we can advance. That's going to be the thing. But I think this deal isn't dead. Whether it goes through is another thing.
Ali Gold has just tweeted saying, Eze talks continue today. That's all he said, really. Great. Which is, yeah. And in terms of Savinho, Josh, we've been speaking a bit on the WhatsApp, but my question was, if Man City are demanding a club record fee for Tottenham for Savinho, do you actually see Tottenham or Levy sanctioning that size of a bid for Savinho?
I think there's multiple aspects to this. He's 21, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's 21. There are not many wingers around at 21 years of age that are as talented as him throughout Europe. 21 is a huge, he's got his whole career ahead of him. He's got his peak years ahead of him. He's going to have huge resale value. I think that we would do a record fee. What is our record fee exactly? 60.
I think it's 65 for Solanke.
Was that 65 base though, or was that including add-ons?
Can't remember.
65 base. It was 65.
Was it 60 plus 5 maybe? I can't remember.
I'll have a quick look.
For someone like Savinho, I do think we would get to our record. I think we would pay 65. I actually do. I think that we would. And I also think that everything that Daigle said about like City, probably what's the point in them giving us signals that they will sell him before our game against them? There's just no point. They might as well drag it out. And yeah, I think that we'd reach that, but once you start getting into 70s, I don't know if we'd do that. When you look at, I said this, offline to you, but basically, when you look at the players that we have overspent on, players like Gray, but which, by the way, I love Gray, just to be clear, and You know, how old was Ndombele when we spent on him?
He's
And
about 22, 23 maybe.
yeah, exactly. So like under 23s kind of thing. We will spend that on younger players that do have resale value, because you're going to be able to get your money back on Savinho, I think. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I think that we will try, like everyone's saying, we're still going to try and bid. I think Tottenham probably know there's no point in bidding before the weekend game. They might even have talks during the game. That, you know, that happens a lot, doesn't it? So they might even have a chat during the game. And yeah, we'll see. I'm about 50% with this deal as well. I think
we're just as likely to find Savinho as Eze, you think? When I put it like that, it's a bit
no, it's more like, sorry, I'm 50% that we will go to the money required, not necessarily
right,
because it's not as advanced. But yeah, so I'm about 50% on both deals, to be honest. They're just at different stages. Eze is like, we definitely get him. Savinho is, we might put enough money up, but we'll see what happens, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a bit. I'm starting to be a bit skeptical about this deal, just because if Man City are stubborn about getting a big fee for him, like over even between 65 and 70 million, if that's what they want, and that is a club record fee. I'm just looking at the going rate this summer for a lot of the top attackers who have obviously much more experience, much more proven than Savinho. You know, the likes of Cunha, the likes of Mbeumo, the likes of what we've signed with Kudus, Eze. And I can't see Levy looking at that going rate there and thinking, I'm going to bid a club record fee for a 21-year-old who's had one season in the Premier League, who scored one Premier League goal last season. And look, not to say, this isn't me saying I don't think he's good. I'm a massive fan of Savinho. I think he's class, and I think his ceiling is really, really high. But I just can't see Tottenham thinking he's worth a club record fee, or I can't see Tottenham's calculations coming out. If they're basically like trying their hardest to get this Eze deal down, right? That Eze we could have gone for 68 million, but we've bartered and we've got it down to 55. We even Kudus, we could have had him for like, what was it? We could have had him for 65, but we tried our hardest to get it down to 55, and that's the only way we agreed a deal. I can't then see us going, okay, Savinho, we're going to drop 70 million on you. I don't see Tottenham doing that. It doesn't seem like the Tottenham thing to do.
I've got one counterpoint to that, which is like, because Savinho will likely be the last deal of the window, any money you have saved bartering on the other deals, like we've worked so hard to get this Eze fee down or whatever, that could be the difference. Us paying 55 instead of 60 for Eze could be the 5 million you use for Savinho. And if you look at, like, I'm not saying that we have operated like this in the past, but if we are trying to be serious, look at like United, how long they spent bartering down on Mbeumo to get him down to 65. And that allowed them to straight away go bang for Sesko. Like, it does happen. Clubs do spend a long time on one deal bartering it down just to get, so that they've got that extra change to go the extra mile with the next one. So that's me being over optimistic on this, but I do think that can happen. Do you know what I mean?
I think what go add as well is we still haven't accounted what outgoings might be coming out of Spurs.
That's true.
So there could be revenue. Obviously, Richarlison, who was probably a top person in everyone's list as fans who might go out, obviously will be staying. But I'm sure there is some money coming in somewhere. There's just got to be. And then the other way I was looking at it as well with Savinho, Sim, what would you say is the price range you're at for him? Like where would you say?
Look, for me, I'm happy to go for the club record fee. I think he's probably worth, if I'm being brutally honest, like if I'm going for like a transfer market value kind of thing, like how much I think he's actually worth in the market, I would say like 55 million. I think it's probably fair for a player where he is right now in his career and what he's shown. Like, I think he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I think there was something. Look, there'll be some fans you speak to, and they'll say, "Oh, well, you think they think he flopped last season? It wasn't very good." I'm not one of those. I think he was classed for a 21-year-old in his first season in the Prem. But there will be some fans who are saying his finishing's bad. You know, he struggled to adapt all these different things. So, it wasn't like he was a universal success, I would say, last season. But for me, I saw more than enough talent to suggest this guy is going to be a very good player. And for a first season in the Prem, for a struggling Man City at times last season as well, I think he was really good. So I would say his market value would probably be around 55 million right now.
So what I was going to say that, let's just say Man City won 65. The way I was kind of looking at it and trying to get across yesterday when I was streaming was, is paying that extra £10 million and paying 10 million, let's say, over the transfer value, is that 10 million worth it to Tottenham? How badly do we need a left winger? Obviously, losing Son, you need a left winger. How much are we going to make back in shirt sales, which will obviously happen, and sponsorships and interest from Brazil? So is paying 10 million over the is that 10 million worth it to Tottenham Hotspur? We need it. We need a player there for Champions League football. Do we pay over the odds? And you would think we all keep talking as well and hearing this new investment, whether it be naming rights, whether it be sponsor, whatever capacity it's coming in. Are they going to have any influence in this? Because obviously the way we're dealing with these transfers are same old, same old. Whether they get done or not, we'll find out. But if you're invested into this football club and you want to see star players coming here, surely near the end of the window, you'll be like, right, let's just put our bloody foot down. If the sponsorship is coming from external places,
yeah,
I reckon that 10 million we were just talking to Simeon about, if we had to pay 10 million over, obviously I'm no accountant or have the number, that 10 million, I think Spurs make up very, very quickly. It's just
I don't disagree, but I agree with you. Like I would spend the extra 10 million, but this is my problem. This is Levy we're talking about. Let's say Palace was stubborn on 70 million. Would we pay that for Eze? No. Are we going to pay? Exactly. That's my point. Even though I think it'd be worth it, get him in, right? 100%. Get the player. But would we do it? Probably, maybe not, because we have a fee, and we have a budget of what we think this player is worth, and we're not going to go over that. So that's how we usually do business. That's how Levy likes to do his business, and he doesn't like to overpay. So I don't see why everyone thinks he's going to do it for Savinho. I don't understand why people are so confident that for some reason this player he's going to do it for, but for all the other players he won't. Like I don't really understand the logic. That's what I'm worried about. That's my fear. And if unless Man City budge because Savinho is pushing for a move or something, and they lower the fee. If they're demanding a club record fee for their 21-year-old winger who got one Premier League goal last season, I've never seen any evidence that Tottenham are willing to do that for him. I don't see where the evidence is, and why they do it for him and not someone more proven. That doesn't make sense.
Mm. Well, who else is there? Who else is there proven? Like literally this late.
No,
we'll probably go for someone else, maybe not as proven, but cheaper. Go for Akalush or something who might be cheaper. That you go for a different winger. That's probably the route they'll probably go down. I would assume. I would, but as I say, I would be in favour of them just putting the money on the table. So I think he's incredible. But
he's so good because he can play both sides as well. Like not many players are like that. Like honestly, I really hope we get that one over the line.